Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the WARZONE. Got my man Rashad Baylor for HD 147 in the building. And you know who I am. I am the 5-star general. Is it something that we can do about these crooked politicians? I think it's time we start canceling them. Tonight we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Rashad running for HD 147. And we might just shock the world. Let's get into it, man. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the WARZONE and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in to the crazy black Republican and my good black Republican homie. I can tell you that. I want to start this off. I want to go to this story because I've been watching it, man. Y'all heard the story of the truck driver who got a 110-year sentence. Rogel Aguilera Medeiros, truck driver convicted in an interstate wreck that killed 4 people. And he ended up with a 110-year sentence. Now I drove a big rig. And a lot of people trying to say what you were taught to drive a rig. But the one thing that they taught us when we were in truck driving school, that if that rig got away from you, that you need to hit anything in front of you because there's no way you're going to be able to stop that rig when it gets away from you. This guy was going downhill. Undoubtedly, he must have smoked his brakes. The area that he was driving in, I've driven in before when I was a truck driver. It's not as easy as people think to hit those ramps on the side that slow you down. Because if that ramp is not there and that truck is out of control with 40,000 pounds on your back, it's nothing really that you can do except hit whatever in front of you to possibly save your life. But a 110-year sentence, I think, is a little bit too much. You had truck drivers deciding they would boycott the state of Colorado. And let me tell you something, when you affect people's bottom lines, you can get things done. You can flat out get things done. Now, they affected the money by saying they're not going to drive in Colorado. So with that being said, now he gets a court hearing on January 13th and possibly to decrease his 113-year sentence for what I just consider a very, very bad accident. And I think he deserves that hearing, but I also don't believe that the punishment is going to fit the crime, even if they get down to 20 or 30 years. I mean, it's just, unless you drove that truck, you wouldn't understand. So, good luck to that young man on January 13th, and hopefully it comes out favorably for him. I got my man Rashad Baylor in the building. You can see his name for HD 147. Rashad, tell him what that means.
So HD 147 is House District 147 here in the great state of Texas. I am running from Hobby Airport to the Montrose area, and it stopped just short of, I think, Scott Street going north and south. Man, I'm running for change in the community. I grew up here. I was raised here. I left to join the military here. And I see a poison in our community. And I see a lot of our leaders not really doing it, not really giving the medicine that's needed to heal the community. So, man, even with me and my busy schedule and everything, I found time and I found energy to get off my behind and go to war and fight for my community. And that's what that means. That's what that means when you see Rashad Baylor for HD 147. You see a concerned citizen who got up off the couch because he sees that the representation for this community is not doing the job. So I decided to do something about it.
Well, the Democrats are going to scream that you're a Republican and, you support Trump. And how do you plan to combat that, man?
Actually, I'm not. I hate when people say you're a Republican. I'm actually Rashard. I'm a man. I'm an individual, and I stand on my own principles. That's why I plan to combat that. Because when people ask me, well, you supported Trump and, you're a Republican and all this, that, and the other, my thing is I'm for the community. At the end of the day, it's the people before the party. And the reason why I'm a Republican is because they support my conservative values. They support my nuclear family household. I have children. I'm religious. I believe in God. I don't go to church every Sunday, but I believe that the right to freedom of speech and freedom of religion should be protected. I believe that we should have little involvement with our government. I believe in more trade schools. I believe in school choice. I believe in lower taxes. I believe in more opportunities for American citizens, and not just American citizens, Houstonians and Texans. So I'm going to go with the party that I feel can get the work done with the values and the morals that align with the Black community. So that's why.
I know a lot of people say that, the people that are vying for that 147 seat over on the other side, the two more prominent names is Jelonda Jones and Reagan Flowers on the Democratic side. And on the Republican side is yourself and Damian Thaddeus Jones. Now, I'm not one to sugarcoat nothing when it comes to politics. I'm going to tell the truth. Love Garnett to death. He graduated from the same high school I graduated from, Jackie A. Senior High School. But as long as he's been there, I look at my community, and that I love Third Ward. But he hadn't done anything. They're like, well, he fought for health care. Okay, well, why we ain't got no change? Why is it worse than what it used to be? I'm just kind of sick and tired, and you can tell us how you feel about it, that people keep uplifting these Democrats in our communities, but yet they don't do anything. They don't have the track record of doing anything. There's no receipts. See, if you're gonna be a politician, you need to have some receipts. And these people don't have no receipts for nothing that they've done. So what's going to make you, if you win this seat, which you got an uphill battle. Anytime I tell anybody, anytime you got an opponent, you have an uphill battle because you have to respect them. They have just as much a shot at winning as you have. But if you win this seat, what are you going to do differently that your predecessor did not do?
That's a great question. I appreciate you asking me that. Transparency. I believe that's one big thing that we don't have in our government today is transparency. A lot of the community and a lot of the citizens don't understand what's going on in our government. We use a lot of big words that go over people's head, a lot of big words that you need a dictionary and all these other words. all these other books to kind of figure out what it is they're talking about. And we get lost. We get lost in the jargon that a lot of these politicians, they spit out. And one thing I plan to do is plan to be transparent. I plan to be straightforward with the people, let them know what's going on. And I plan to go up in there and fight for them and not give up. When I reach adversity, I don't plan to roll over and allow the next man to push me over. I plan to stand up and fight for this community, which I think hasn't been going on. And transparency. I don't know what the hell going at state capitol, to be honest. Because, I don't see what's happening in the community. So I can't tell you what he does up there or what they're supposed to be doing, writing bills. But that's just not affecting our community. So I plan to go up there and do stuff that's going to really benefit our community. I plan to go up there with a black and a brown agenda. I don't plan to dance around and do what's good for $1. I plan to do what's right for the community. And that's it. Transparency. I can't preach it anymore. It's transparency. And I want the community to hold me accountable. Transparency and accountability. Hold me accountable for my shit. And if I'm not doing the job, get my ass up out of there. Please get me out of there.
Well, let me ask you this question. Let's say you win that seat, you in there. They're talking about voter rights, voter suppression. It's not going our way. Do you jump on a plane and you leave? Or do you stand firm and you fight and you try to get it to make sense? Because jumping on a plane to me means that you're just going on vacation. You're not where you're supposed to be getting paid for what you're not actually doing. So how do you handle something like that if you're the rep in 147?
Well, to be a good winner, you got to be a good loser. And as we know, our politics are fluid. And at one given moment, the House or the Senate can be controlled by the other party. And we have to work together. That's the biggest thing that I plan to do. If you see my website, it says building bridges. I don't want to go in there and say I'm a Republican, I can't work with a Democrat, because I can. If it's for the betterment of the community, I can. And if we don't have the majority on a vote, it is what it is. I have to support what the majority is, because that's what the people wanted. The people voted in their representation. The representatives then push forward an agenda. And if that agenda gets voted, then I can do nothing about it. The only thing I can do is I can go back to my community and let my community know how this bill affects them. And again, that's where transparency comes in. I let them know what exactly is going on and how it's going to affect them. So when the next election process comes around, we can get in some new officials that's going to actually push the agenda that needs to be pushed. But no, I wouldn't run. I'm going to stay there and I'm going to take my L, and I'm going to try to work with the other side to push still my community agenda forward.
What is your ideologies on our border, protecting our borders? Some people say, let them come over. Some people say when we allow them to come over, they take jobs from American citizens. Some people feel like the immigrant population is a reason that we keep getting these tax hikes. What's your opinion on protecting the borders?
Man, so my co-host for my podcast, Darius, he's on the border right now. I myself have been deployed to the southwest border, Operation Guardian Support, in response to President Trump sending down the Texas National Guard and the rest of the National Guard to the border. My viewpoint on the border is security. We need walls. We need more strategic deterrence at the border. Reason being, I'm not even worried about the illegal immigrants coming in. That's the last thing I'm worried about, right? Because the jobs they're doing, cool, whatever. I'm not looking for those jobs, and I believe a lot of people in the community are looking for those jobs. What I'm more afraid about is the drugs. A lot of those drugs that are being pushed across the border find themselves in Black and brown communities. When I worked the border, I worked with Homeland Security, and what we did, we x-rayed trucks that came in, vehicles that came across. We x-rayed those, and we found a lot of drugs. And as we know, the crack epidemic and all that stuff hurt Black and brown people, and those drugs find their way in our community. That's why I believe we should secure the borders. It's for the drugs that are coming in, not the people. Now, granted, the people need to be stopped also, but it's really the drugs that I'm more so worried about down there.
You're doing good so far. Tiffany Hill had a question. What methods will he put in place to make sure our communities are taken care of? Many politicians have made promises to the world, but failed to deliver.
So I'm not going to promise you anything. The only thing I would promise you is that I would be transparent and I would allow the community to hold me accountable. The things that I stand for, that I would go in there to fight for, is more things that are going to affect our youth, because I believe our youth are the future. And I believe if we grab a hold to our babies right now, we could plant a seed in them, and we'll see that benefit 10 to 15 years down the road. A lot of the resources go into adults, and it's hard to save adults. Their minds are made up, their actions have been made. Then we can have resources for them, but we should be really putting our energy and our effort toward our kids. And when I say that, a lot of the programs that I'm going to push forward or push for are summer youth workshops. Bring back summer work programs. Bring back trade schools to our young kids. School choice. Freedom of religion. I'm going to try my best to minimize taxes. Bring in more resources to entrepreneurs, and bring in more businesses to our communities. A lot of people talk about gentrifying the hood, and gentrification is a bad thing. Gentrification isn't a bad thing. Gentrification is a great thing when you own your property. So those are the things that I plan on bringing to the community. Understanding financial literacy, bringing in people who could come and help you how to manage your money and manage your books, because we make a lot of money in the Black community. The thing is, we spend it. We use it terribly. And I believe if we had more resources where we taught our community about how to use their money wisely so we can grow it more, I believe that our community would be well off. Again, we have a lot of money that revolves around the Black community, but that dollar doesn't circulate here long. It leaves. And until we learn how to use our money wisely, we're going to be in this hellhole. And the thing that I promise to do is resources. You know, like, that's all I can do. Transparency, accountability, and get some resources. But if I'm going to tell you, I'm going to promise you a plan, I can't promise you nothing because, again, I got a whole bunch of other people I got to go up in there and try to convince too. You're going to get a fighter. Believe me, you're going to get a fighter. But I'm not going to promise you that I'm going to change anything. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to try my damn best to, though.
Let's go to education. Now, you running in 147 as a Republican, and you're Rashard. You don't see me and Rashard. We don't get into the R's and the D's. We leave that for the people out there. I'm running in 131, and I want to see how you feel about this. There's two things that I've been talking to politicians about on both sides of the aisles. One is that the TEA commissioner, Texas Education Agency commissioner, is appointed by the governor of the state of Texas. I believe that position should be a voted position. The people should pick that person. And the reason being, the commissioner that we have right now has never been in a classroom. He's never been a teacher. He's never been a teacher's aide. He's never been a principal. He's never been an administrator. So I think that might be some of the reasoning as to why there's a disconnect with him and actual teachers and administrators on the levels below him in our schools. I think that should be a voted position. What's your opinion?
I agree. I believe that any person that has that amount of power, the people should choose that person, that elected official. It's not fair to have someone who is disconnected with the bottom floor. And the bottom floor, I mean teachers. They're actually the frontline defense or the frontline education workers for our children. If you've got a guy that's writing the curriculum that's supposed to manage all the academic stuff here in Texas, and this guy's never been a teacher, he's never been on the ground floor, how is it that he can understand what it is that teachers feel? How is it that he can understand what a lot of these children go through on a day-to-day basis? He's disconnected. And then also, you don't understand how these babies learn. So yeah, you put in all these tests and all this stuff like that is hurting our community. And the reason why you don't care is because you don't understand. So yeah, I believe that position should be elected, and I'll do my damnedest to fight to get that done.
Now, the second thing is we have a lot of corruption in local politics, but we seem to continue to have a lot of corruption in the educational arena, whether it be the Houston Community College, where Chris Oliver went to jail, got a 6-year sentence for bribery and different things. And now we have former school board president Rhonda Skillerin-Jones, who just, took a deal with federal prosecutors for bribery in the Houston Independent School District. This is something I know I'm going to fight for. And I just want your opinion and let the people hear how you feel. I don't know how he's going to answer this because this show is not scripted, y'all. So he's hearing these questions for the first time. I think that we need to redo the law, and school board trustees should get a salary. I believe that they should get a salary, and I believe that they should not be allowed to take money from vendors or teachers unions, because if we could eliminate that, and it would possibly eliminate them committing crimes to get money. Because anytime you're looking at a school board representative that is facing now jail time for supposedly taking $12,000 to $20,000, what about if you paid them $30,000 a year? Now, the big question is where can the money come from? How can it be sustainable? Now, what y'all seeing tonight is two youngsters that want to be state reps, and look at the ideas that we tossing around. The old folk up in there ain't talking like this here, man. So here's the deal. Where can the money come from? Well, the lie that was told from day one is a portion of the taxes from the lottery would be used for education. That money has never been used for nothing. It's never been used for anything pertaining to education. So why don't we take the taxes that's supposed to be going to education from the lotto and use that to pay these school board trustees a decent salary so that they do not have to go in and commit crimes? What's your thoughts?
So I agree. And the reason being, I believe a lot of these people going into positions with the right heart to do the right thing. But when you've got them extending themselves so much, gas, insurance, kids, food, just regular resources, and you're not giving them any or much compensation for it. And then on the flip side, you got a vendor or somebody come in and say, hey man, I'll shoot you $7,000-$8,000 if you get blase done for me. And if I'm struggling, if somebody's struggling, then they may be tempted to take that money if they're struggling. And my thing is, if we're doing some type of way to compensate them for what it is they're doing, then we remove the opportunity for them to even be in a position to where they condemn themselves, where they find some type of way to be corrupted. I believe anybody these people are kind of like first responders, right? In a sense, like we would never tell our first responders to do this job for free. We wouldn't tell the police department to do these jobs for free because they protect and serve. In a sense, that's the exact same thing that they're doing. They're protecting and serving our children because our children are the future. So why wouldn't we find some way to compensate them for what they're doing? That's a lot of sacrifice that they're putting out there. So yeah, we need to do something.
I think whether I like some of these guys that sit on school boards or not, I think that it's only fair that not just school boards, I'm talking about community college boards, Lone Star, I'm talking about all of these boards where these people gives tons and tons of their time. They give tons and tons of their time. I remember a couple of years ago, you're supposed to do 4 meetings a month. And these people were doing 18 meetings a month in HISD. If you gave them a salary, then you don't have to really worry about them violating the law. Now, the trade-off on that, if we would do that, if we could get that passed, these 2 Republicans here would go to war for it. If we could get something like that passed, up the criminal penalty for the ones that decide that they're going to continue to violate the law. So now you make this a very egregious felony. So if you violate the law, then now you got to deal with this. You see what I'm saying? I think that's the way that it should go. That's just issues that I'm going to push for. You see what I'm saying? And y'all, we could talk about it all day. We could talk about glow money. We could talk about in Rashad's district, in my district, how our houses were not rebuilt to the sizes that they were. Now, my opponents, I'm glad to debate them on this. I would be glad to debate the current state rep on this. What advocating did you do to make sure that if I had a 5-bedroom house and it was flooded in a natural disaster, that I got my glow money and was rebuilt a 5-bedroom house? You see what I'm saying? No, that's not what happened in my district. What happened in my district is you rebuilt the house based on occupancy. But in Kingwood, with those reps out there advocating their behinds off, Republicans, those houses were rebuilt to what they lost. If they lost a 5-bedroom, they got a 5-bedroom, even if it was just 2 people living in that house. But on my side of town, in my district, if it was 2 people living in a 5-bedroom and we lost our house, we only got a 2-bedroom home. So that means that our people that sit in these positions have not been advocating. They've not gone to Austin and did what they needed to do. And we're going to show you the fresh ideas. People are saying, Christian Martin, great fresh ideas. Aisha saying, I agree. This is what you get when you put some real movers and shakers in positions that they need to be in. You feel what I'm saying? What do you think about that glow money, Rashard? Because I know it's a lot of people in your district whose homes, they just basically, if you want a bigger house than 2-bedroom and you had a 5, or we got this program we can put you in at 65 years old and you can buy you one. That wasn't fair. But Garnett didn't do nothing about it. He didn't fight. What's your opinion?
So I guess my question would be, not even opinion is, so if the people's houses didn't get rebuilt back to the sizes that they were, then where did the money go? Where did all this extra money go? Where did these funds go? And
in their pocket.
I'm not, but but so if that's the problem, here we are. It's not that the resources don't come to the community. It's the people don't do right with it. Money flows into the south side of Houston, north side of Houston, and all these black and brown areas. But the people who are in charge, the gatekeepers who are in charge of distributing this money out equally and fairly, don't do their damn job. They're so ready to line their own pockets and see how they can help themselves out, or their own homeboys or homegirls. That shit's got to stop. That shit's got to stop. And that's a lot of that's plaguing our community today. So
I tell you, just said something that leads us into our next subject matter that we're going to ride until the wheels fall off at the end of this show. The Rhonda Skilling Jones thing kind of took a lot of people by surprise. Rhonda was very big in the community, very well respected, and people just couldn't wrap their mind around Rhonda committing a crime and now, facing possible jail time. I think every time we look up, and there are crimes committed by people from both parties, as well as independents. But every time we look up, it's the black Democrat that gets caught. Now, this is what my pops used to tell me. He said it ain't a crime until you get caught. He said it's not a crime until you get caught. But every time you look up, it's one of us that's getting caught. And I'm at a point, and I've spoken to a lot of different people, men, women, fraternity members, sorority members. A lot of people are embarrassed, again, by Skilling Jones being caught up in this and then taking a deal and then having to testify against the people that are there. But more importantly, getting that felony that basically ends her political career. But we're sick of the embarrassment. And I think it's time. See, we run around here and we want to cancel people for what they say. We hold on, your mic not on. We want to cancel people for what they say. I think it's time we start canceling politicians for what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell me, maybe you've seen it, but I have not seen it. Since this happened, not one black politician has said anything in regards to this being an embarrassment to the black community. Not one politician has admonished her. Kathy Buford Daniels, school board trustee, said something, we need to move on. Well, baby, let me stop you right there. Now, we ain't moving on from this hill because there's some people still sitting on the board right now taking money from vendors too. Now, we talking about a former school board member getting caught up. I'm saying it, and I'm saying it right now, and I stand 10 toes down. There are people sitting on the board right now in the Houston Independent School District that are taking money from vendors. So when is enough enough? Do you think that we should start canceling these black politicians for embarrassing us by always getting caught up in criminal activity?
Hell yeah, we should. Because it's a straight embarrassment. It's a straight insult to the people of the community. Here it is again. We vote y'all in office, right? As to be our representation. So if you up there stealing money and you're doing all this illegal shit, then that's a direct representation of us, the community. So what you're telling everybody else in the national news or whoever state news, you're telling them that black people that you represent are thieves or felons or crooks or criminals. You're reinforcing a lot of these BS mindsets or these BS ideologies that people have about black people. And my thing is, if the politicians are doing it, and these are supposed to be the people sitting on the highest pedestal in the community, then what do you think they think the people in the community are doing? You get what I'm saying? So they're going up there and making these decisions by themselves, but they don't realize the effect that it's having on everybody else downhill. You know, people like me and you have to go and defend this shit. And they don't worry about that. Like you said, their colleagues, their peers don't even hold them accountable. These are people who sit in the office with them. They don't even hold them accountable. It's time that you, I, and everybody else in this thread, Aisha, Kristen, Demetria, Double X, Frank, and everybody else, start holding these damn politicians accountable. Like you said, yeah, cancel their ass. If we cancel the baby for saying something about homosexuals that really wasn't even that bad, but if we cancel the baby for saying stuff like that, why we don't cancel these politicians for their actions?
Well, I'm gonna say this. I think that the white community, they cancel their people. The Asian community, which you don't hear nothing about them, I think they don't do embarrassment. They don't do no negativity coming upon them or their families. They don't deal with that.
Family
it's
business,
Negroes that don't have a problem with it. You don't look, man. The people say this here. Now we're gonna keep it 100. We're gonna keep it 100. Boy, that Monroe got a mouth on him. I can't support him because he cuss, but I don't steal. You say I cuss, but I don't steal. But you can't vote for Gary Monroe, right? But you know that these people are doing this. So here's another question. Do you think that the people that are in positions of power, black politicians, are they connected to the stealing? Do you think they know about the stealing and they just turn a blind eye? All the criminal activity that we seem to be involved in? What's your opinion on that? Because I'm going to come right behind you and some of y'all finna get slid.
So I always thought don't snitch was only if you was in the streets and you was out there selling that work. That's the only time that the rule don't snitch, you know, really play effect, right? If you're a regular upstanding citizen, don't snitch don't apply to you. So the same thing with this politics stuff, right? If you ain't snitching, that means you part of it. So you don't want it to come back to you. That's the way I look at it. That's just the streets in me, right? That's just the street in me.
I want you to say that again, because I go slow, because I want them to get that part, because I'm the same way. Keep going.
So I'm gonna bring it back. All right. Don't snitch only applies to those who are in the game. If you are not a part of the game, it is your due diligence to go out there and protect your community. With that being said, if politicians are not calling other politicians out for their actions, more than likely it's because they're in the game and they don't want that blood to spill over on them.
What Rashard just said, for y'all that didn't grab, he said it twice. If you know they stealing and you ain't saying nothing in the political game, you probably stealing too. That's what he said. And see, what he just said is the street in us. See, I'm going to say this here. And I guarantee you won't take me to court, do what you do. Tasha Jackson, do you really give out all those gift cards after floods and hurricanes? I'm only asking the question. I didn't accuse her of anything. Do you really give out all those gift cards after floods and hurricanes? You know, y'all say y'all got a problem with gentrification. But how many of y'all are in bed with members of the Texas Association of Realtors? And you taking that money under the table? Yeah, come on, let's talk about it. Because For the last 5-6 years, I've been crazy, let them tell it. I didn't know what I was talking about at HISD. But yet, it's all starting to come out. Did anybody know that in the last few, that Millard House had to terminate or either force out the assistant controller in the Houston Independent School District? That's the people deal with the money. Right before Grenita left, she wiped the procurement department clean of personnel. These people know what's going on. Now, if we think about it, Skilling Jones to me is low-hanging fruit in the game. She's low-hanging fruit in the game. The question is, who gave her the game to get the money from the contractors? Somebody had to give her the game. Now, y'all out here, my good white people, y'all learn the game right now from us. We're going to teach you the game. This is how they work. Who gave her the game? Now, she in the middle now because you had somebody in there before her, and now you got somebody after her. So did somebody give her the game and she pass it down to the next person? Is it true Deanna Davla's on Twitter? She's on Twitter running her mouth, but you forgot about the contract that I gave to HISD and TEA where you, your brother, and your husband were shaking down Latino vendors? See, this ain't just Skilling Jones. This low-hanging fruit. She low-hanging fruit, dog. It's major money being made off of HISD, HCC, and Lone Star Community College. Man, did you know Lone Star had 35 million missing? 35 million. So hold on, Rashard. And I'm gonna give you the flow. I ain't say $35, man. I said 35 million. How you lose $35 million? Well, that's just 35 million. Sharpstown Middle School, HISD, $956 million to redo the athletic fields, and they ain't never been redone. But the money was paid up front. Now, guess who the money was paid to? The same two that just got, the same vendor that just got indicted. Anthony Hutchinson, they say Brian Busby pushed it through. So the thing is Skilling Jones low-hanging fruit, or all these goddamn black politicians connected to the corruption in these school systems, which includes HISD, HCC, and Lone Star? What's your opinion?
I hope it ain't that deep. I really hope it ain't.
Don't start hoping, because your hope's gonna.
I know. And I say that because I know the people that's watching probably think the same thing too, right? We hope it ain't so. But as the cards unfold, it is looking to be so. My thing is, how this money go missing for so long and ain't nobody saying shit?
Who's
responsible?
Man, come on, it's me and you, two partners,
bro. You telling me some shit I ain't know. That's what I'm saying.
Let's talk about it, man. Why would they say anything when all of them getting paid?
Bro, so my thing
that's
is,
why you got to have the right board members on the school board, because all the motherfuckers getting paid.
Everybody gotta know something, dog.
Everybody and their mama getting money, man.
My thing is this:
they blowing money in the script club like they get
Look, man, if I come in the house, Doc, my paycheck, it ain't much. But for example, I get paid $1,500 every 2 weeks, right? I come in the house, my paycheck. My woman expects me to pay the bills, right? She holds me accountable. If I choose not to pay them bills and we go into default and she supported that, then she's just as bad as I am. But being the fact that she holds me accountable, it stops me from doing a lot of those things. So the thing is, if $9 million come in A bill has to be paid with that $9 million to school field, right? So if a school field has never been built and the people who she answered to have never ever held her accountable for what she's done, and by way they have to be in bed with her. It wouldn't make any other sense.
But here the game. Did what you do. You got an HISD auditor. What you do is you walk in one morning and you fire him because he was making copies on a copy machine. So the person that's supposed to keep everybody honest,
you
fire him for making copies on the copy machine.
Well, damn, there it is. There it is right there. You get rid of all your accountability and you put everybody, like you just said, you put everybody in position that can make this ship roll. Because if one oar going the other way, we can't get nowhere. But if we all rowing the same way, then we can get what we need to get to. And clearly, they're trying to get to the promised land with that 9 million plus.
So ain't no one dude, because if you know he doing it, you could turn him in. Or if you're a big time politician, you could go to the DA and you see I'm whispering. I don't want everybody to hear this except for y'all out there. I want y'all to hear this. You could go and you could turn him in. You could do whatever. But if you were the county commissioner and, you know, and other politicians like Boris, he got the insurance on the bonds, you don't say nothing. So this dude got a $900 million contract. Let's pay him all this money up front. We all gonna shut our mouth and we all gonna eat. That sound like some organized crime shit to me, man.
Man, it sound like some mafia shit. If I ain't never seen it, the only thing they need now is some sweatsuits.
The only thing they missing,
if they get some sweatsuits, this a damn mafia.
is hiring right now, and the only person that they missing to be on the payroll is Nino Brown. That's it. But you got to watch Skillin' Jones because she your G Money. They just missing Nino Brown, man. This organized crime all day long, bro.
Man, it's the mafia. Somebody just said with that Thunder, HISD mafia.
That's exactly right. That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. And a lot of these people thugs.
So now you got the superintendent who's here, brand new dude, black dude that they done brought here. Didn't even want him. He was the third best. They didn't want him. I don't want to say too much because I don't want. I'm like Wanda on Living Color. I don't want nobody to say I'm messy. But they didn't want him. He's the third best. So now you got this plan in place. Let's bring this dumb nigga in here. We gonna run the tables on him. We gonna get the right board members. We're gonna keep Monroe out the boardroom. Okay, that's how we gonna do it. Now, once we got him in here, Rick Cruz, we're going to put him next to you. Let him make you the deputy superintendent. Now, once we get him to make you the deputy superintendent, we want you to get some of these blacks and whites about the building that got a lot of power. Go look at how they've been getting them out, and it'll show. We're going to get them out the building. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to feed him bad information. He got to depend on us to get the data and everything. So he ain't going to know. And then what's going to happen after about 2 years, we're going to say he ineffective, Rick. And then we're going to say we want a homegrown superintendent. And then we're going to put you in the position. But this the thing, Rick, this how they got to work. We know you connected to Deanna Davila, former disgraced trustee, and former disgraced superintendent Terry Greer. They gonna give you the game on the outside. You just come inside and do it. Now, if you do this, Rick, we gonna make sure you get some of this bond money, and we gonna make sure you the new superintendent. That shit sounds like a television series.
Scripted.
But guess what? That's exactly the way it's playing out.
Yeah.
That's exactly the way it's playing out. You see what I'm saying? And as long as Millard House can continue to make decisions that makes the white people mad and angry, who can move him faster than anybody else?
Yeah,
the white population. The white population of disgruntled parents will be more than enough for them to say he's ineffective. Them test scores are gonna tank because they setting it up for him to tank. You feel me? And then they move their man in who's controlled by the former superintendent who he reports directly to. See, this is why I'm saying all these people playing in this thing, and they all need to be canceled. Every last one of them. But see, the people that's talking to Rick and all these politicians on the outside, Rashard, because they're all gonna make money. They're all gonna make money, and you know who ends up getting messed up? The kids.
The people. Yep.
The kids. Yep. You see what I'm saying?
They say shit rolls downhill, and we at the bottom.
Oh, it's no questions. Now, these politicians that are making us look bad, on January 15th, we're having an event, a community roundtable event at BH Ranch. And I'm going to just say this here. Let the canceling begin. Because they're going to come. We want all the politicians. We ain't going to disrespect you, but we need you there for a reason. That if you don't show up, we're going to cancel you. We're going to hold our vote, and you're going to get kicked out of your seats. If you're running for office, we need you there. Because if you don't show up, then we're going to make sure that you don't have a shot in hell of winning. It's time for y'all to sit down, shut your mouth, and listen to the people that are your bosses. What you think? Because we're getting ready to hold our votes. And in the primary that's coming up in Harris County, we'll wipe you completely out. What you think, brother?
Man, it's time that we at war right now, right? I served in the military, Navy and Army. Wars are fought and won with young men. Old men are used for wise counsel to help guide us young soldiers out here in the battlefield. These politicians with these outdated policies and these outdated platforms that don't support the community, that they don't understand the people in the community, they don't even know the music that these young kids listen to today. When y'all show up on the 15th or y'all don't show up on the 15th, all that's going to be exposed. We're going to expose how out of touch and how outdated you guys are. And when we show that and we expose the real, then the community is going to really understand who really out here fighting for y'all. Who really out here spending their last dollar, because we grassroots. We ain't got no funding like that. This is pocket, out of our own pocket that we're going to get this done.
Though? If they state reps, their money shouldn't be that much longer than me and yours. Because they making what, $11,000 a year? $7,000 a year. So how you got all that goddamn money? Because you in the back room cutting deals. You in the back room. One of the biggest lies that have been told this last legislative session is the Democrats were fighting for democracy. They were fighting for your voting rights. They had to leave in order to try to get something done. No, what you did is you left and you pulled a filibuster. That's what you did. You didn't finish your assignment. Now, if you were smart, you would see that some of us clearly understood that the highly controversial gun bill was before. It was before the voter integrity bill. So if you really gave a damn about people having all these guns in the streets and all this violence, why didn't you walk out on the gun bill? Because if you'd have did that, you'd have walked out on all the bills. You know what you did? You went in the back room, and the same people that you sit there and lie about on a daily, saying you can't work with them, they're trying to do this, they're doing that, the Republicans, you cut the deal in the back room. You didn't walk out on the gun bill.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? What's your opinion?
So my thing is they had to work together to get that bill pushed. But yet they'll tell you that the Republican Party won't work to get anything done with them. So clearly that's a lie. And then you lie to the people and you go out there and you tell the people, hey, we're walking out on democracy, right? Because we're trying to protect your right to vote. But yet they never really came out and said how the bill was racist and how it stopped people's right to vote. They never really came out there and talked about how the comparison of the bill pre-COVID versus the bill post-COVID, how they compare to each other. It actually extended way more liberties and made more freedoms to vote than we had at first.
Now, that's
So that
funny.
was a lie.
That's funny you bring up COVID, because now all of a sudden we got this Omarion. I call it the Omarion virus, or whatever it's called. Right before the primaries, right before you got to send out the early ballots, applications. Y'all must think I'm stupid, huh? You're going to say the people can't go to the polls again. Because right now you got them voter integrity laws in place where you just can't send them ballots out.
Yep.
So now all of a sudden Houston just exploded with this virus.
Mm-hmm.
When last week you said only one person had it. A week later, everything in their mama starting to shut down.
But then the CDC just come out and say that the quarantine's been shut down in half to where you only have to do 5 days now.
Exactly.
So if the virus is that deadly, why is the CDC saying that you don't have to quarantine as long? So if the virus is deadly,
what I don't want to discredit the fact that there may be a virus.
No, it's a virus.
But what I'm saying is this. It's so ironic, especially in Texas, that now all of a sudden we're getting to the point where we're looking at the governor. Will he shut the state down? Hell no, he don't need to shut the state down.
For what?
Because if he shuts the state down, then there you go with the mail-in ballots, and that's how they cheat and win elections. Yep. We ain't letting him shut no state down.
They trying their best to push fear right now to get the people to push back against the government and push back against the city. The thing is, that fear is not scaring people right now because people are tired. If you go to the gas station, you see gas prices. You go to the store, you see how much bread costs, how much milk, eggs, and all this stuff costs. And you know that all this stuff happened when we got a new regime in office. People ain't having that. You're not going to push us a bunch of fear on us and then we vote our freedoms away again. We just did that shit. We just did that.
Exactly.
We're not going to do that again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. I ain't getting fooled again.
They ain't even fooled me the first time. They ain't fooled me the first time. Everybody like, Monroe, you in Minneapolis, it's cold. You got to get your immune system up. I ain't got no shots.
I ain't got none either.
I ain't got no boosters.
I ain't got none either.
And I'm feeling like $1 million.
And I'm going to tell you what's even colder, Monroe, about this.
God is my vaccine.
My wife had COVID at the hospital, had our baby. We walked out of the hospital a day later, COVID positive with a baby. So my thing is,
say that again, bro.
We walked out the hospital COVID positive with the baby. I was COVID negative. My wife was COVID positive. They tried to run a test on my child. I told them no, because she said if it came back positive, they put my child in the NICU for 2 weeks. My child had no issues, none whatsoever, but they wanted to push that on us. And our right as citizens, we stood back and we pushed back against that, and we were able to walk out of the hospital. And we, God-given, because like you say, God is my protector. That's my vaccine.
God is my
child
vaccine.
Ain't had an issue. My child and my wife have not had an issue. So all the fear-mongering that they pushing out there on people is a goddamn lie, and it's time that we take back our power. Let me ask you
something, because something missing in action. But we got about 6 minutes, if you don't mind. We go over if you want. We just Hey, let's get it. What the fuck happened to the flu?
Bro, so I worked in hospitals, right? The flu numbers went down the first year of COVID because we did hand washing, we wore masks, and we practiced good hygiene. That's how the flu is spread. That's how we spread the flu. But when we practiced the hand washing and stuff like that, flu numbers dropped. The thing is, the flu is back on the rise right now because we stopped doing those hand hygiene washing, and we stopped wearing the mask, and we stopped the social distancing. So the flu is back on the rise, and the numbers of deaths that the flu have been killing on the rise also. And I think that's really what they've been trying to push off is COVID, these flu sicknesses. And if they were really to tell the truth and say, hey, a lot of these people really ain't got COVID. They just got the regular common flu, which is why these numbers are coming up, because we know the symptoms are the same. They go hand in hand. So the misinformation is bullshit, man. I'm so tired of the media does a terrible job at it too.
No, the media is bought and paid, and they're doing the job that they were paid to do.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's how I feel, man. The media is bought and paid, and they do the job that they're paid to do. I mean, like the little girl from the young lady from Hood Grizzly or Grizzly Hood News.
Oh yeah.
This girl report local news better than the local news
and faster.
She 2-3 days ahead of them. These people only reporting what they tell them to report.
You're damn right.
You see what I'm saying?
I
got a kid in Warden, Texas that's being railroaded like crazy right now. Ain't nobody want to report on it. The question is why? Why? So the thing is, where is the flu? I mean, every other look, man, this is where I'm confused. You can help me with this because you know I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I'm 2 sandwiches short of a picnic. I don't know. Why y'all taking all these booster shots? This shit ain't working.
Everybody I know that had the vaccine.
Every other month, Shard, they got to get a new shot. It's a new shot. It's a new shot. It's a new shot. It's a new shot. And now they done come out with the pill. But you taking the shots, but ain't nothing working. Oh, Gary Monroe ain't took now shot, and he never had nothing. Nothing.
That's an international hand sign for money. If y'all don't know, that's an international hand sign for money. We need the separation of state and medicine right damn now, because a lot of these pharmaceutical and a lot of these medical things that's being pushed out, I don't know the big word jargon. I'm not going to even try to use big words. A lot of these pharmaceutical things and a lot of these medical issues that have been pushed out onto our people are driven by dollar signs that are funding these politicians who are pushing these same agendas. Because how is it that one side of the field can say it's not that bad, and then the other side says it is really that bad? My thing is, if there was some truth in what both of them were saying, there would be a common middle ground in what it is that they're saying. They're so far spread apart, we can't trust who is what. And the thing is, it all boils down to the dollar sign. We don't know the truth because the people who represent us are holding the truth due to a dollar sign. And until we start holding these people that are lining these pockets, that are accepting this money, until we start holding these politicians accountable, start canceling their ass, we're going to keep being driven to the slaughter. The sheep are headed to the slaughter, brother. And you and I, the sheepdogs, are trying our damnedest to protect these sheep. But the wolves are out there, and these wolves got a D in front of their name. They wear these big fancy suits, use these big fancy words, and got these big ass fancy degrees. But they don't give a damn about the sheep. They don't give a damn.
Keep talking, man.
Oh shit! I thought you were finna say something.
No,
but no, it's time. It's time that real people start to step up, right? I can't make any man, right? Because I say men. Not that our women aren't leading well, because they are, but men. Until these men step up, black men step up, and we really take control of our families and we take control of our communities, we're gonna keep being led to the slaughter. Nobody's protecting the women and children and the babies, man. But you got 2 Republicans right here, and they'll tell you that we the worst of the worst. They'll call us coons, Uncle Tom, black, white supremacists, and all this other shit to stop our message from getting out there. You know why? Because we have a message of love. And it's because we love our people and we love our damn community. We lose sleep at night because we love our people. Man, I would give my life. I gave my life for this damn country. You think I'm going to give my life for my family? For my community?
Say, man. You're right. They call us Uncle Toms, call us coons. And you know what I got to say to that? Because I really want people to hear me. I'm a very, very intelligent young man. When you call me a coon, you know what I say, man? Your mama a coon. Your child a coon. Don't disrespect me and I won't disrespect you. I'm trying to find this picture for these people, man. Keep talking to them.
Yeah, man. I love them when they call me Uncle Tom, because clearly a lot of them ain't never picked up a book and really read Uncle Tom's Cabin. If they would have, you would know that Uncle Tom was the hero. And if you really want to insult, you call me a Sambo. So that shows that a lot of these ignorant folk out here that's speaking all this jargon and bunch of rhetoric that don't mean shit. Just a lot of big words with fluff, just emptiness. They say all this stuff and they don't even know what the hell they be talking about. They just regurgitate talking points because they puppets. Like you say, the money flow up and the shit rolls downhill. So somebody's controlling them. So they got all these political talking points. And if you look just like the news, you can flip from one politician to the next. They all talk about the same damn thing. It's like they talking to each other. They're not talking to us. Like, when are you going to realize the people are in the room also?
Well, I tell you what, man, on the real, though, I do tell them they mama a coon, though, for real. I tell them they mama a coon and they little child a coon. That's how I feel. Because I'm not a coon. Because I don't want to keep allowing Sheila Jackson Lee to privately invest money into a hospital over at Forest Brook where they killing people. Where you work at, Rashard?
You know that's where I'm at. Man, I know she over there.
You talking about the hospital that lost their
that Medicare, Medicaid accreditation?
Yeah, lost Medicaid, Medicaid.
And she's a big advocate.
Let me ask you a question. I don't know if you was there then. You remember Keith Wade used to work for the city? Good dude, Keith Wade.
Think so.
A man that has worked for the city of Houston for all those years. I got to put this back up. Why did Keith Wade die over there in that hospital? Do y'all understand what we're saying when we say they lost their Medicaid accreditation?
In jeopardy. So let's clear it up. In jeopardy of losing Medicaid, because they'll try to do the legal stuff. In jeopardy of losing that Medicare. They haven't lost it yet, but they're in jeopardy of.
Tell them do the legal stuff on this hill.
Yeah.
How much money the good congresswoman got invested in that? A hospital where it's some skeptical things that are going on. The people dying at alarming rates from what I've been told.
Absolutely.
Allegedly.
And the staff has been reporting the hospital over and over about manning and clinical errors. And we talk about infectious control, life safety. Yeah.
So basically what he's saying is the hospital is nasty. It ain't clean. But why the congresswoman so tied to this hospital? Why she so tied to this? See, this is what we talking about right here. These people are tied to anything that makes money, but the money ain't coming to the hood.
Because my thing is, if the hospital is killing the people in your community, why are you not standing up and doing something about it? And for anybody that say, because I work for the hospital, that's my livelihood. But one thing you can say is the report that I got back from the state of Texas, because I have to answer this question, for infectious control, which is what I control, life safety, and a little bit of infectious control, those citations were taken care of. But it's her responsibility to hold that hospital in the community that she represents and serves accountable. My thing is, if people are dying at an alarming rate, if your hospital is giving out infections through operating procedures, and people are losing their lives, and a lot of these people are losing their loved ones, why is she not standing up and doing a better job to hold that hospital and the board and the people who govern that hospital accountable? That is her job as a politician. She needs to hold the board accountable.
I want to know how much money she getting off of it. That's what I want to know. Because when you ain't holding them accountable, as you said in the beginning, it makes it look like you making money. And I keep telling people the Democrats make money off the demise of the people.
Yep.
They make money off the demise.
And the people want to know, if people want to be real, where's Sheila Jackson Lee from? Because she's not from the community she served.
I think she's from Bogalusa, Mississippi with that motherfucking braid.
She's from Harlem, New York. She's from Harlem, New York. So my thing is, why didn't she go up there and serve her people where she came from? Why she come down here to pander and steal from black folk? I don't know how much y'all know, but back in the day, a lot of them cool, slick talking folk from New York used to come down to the South and try to run game on us to get our dollars and squeeze us, because there are a lot of pimp and slick talking folk. She's the exact same way. She came down here, she ran game on the folk of Houston and the folk of the North Side, and she took advantage of them. And she's been running that same game since she's been elected in office. You don't see Sheila's actually doing a goddamn thing. You seen her get that award to Megan Thee Stallion, and what the hell did that award constitute for? Nothing.
Why you think they never gave me an award?
Could you speak the facts? Anybody that speak the truth ain't finna get no award.
From them stinking, but that's okay. Because you know what? The award I get is the smile on my people's face when I help my people. You see what I'm saying? So I think Thunder say, I miss Marion Barry. The brother had some personal problems, but he took care of his people. I've always said that the best politician that I ever saw in the hood was Marion Barry. Yeah, he had some drug issues. But he tried to take care of his people. Now, these people ain't got no drug issues. Not
damn.
But I'm going to stop right there because a whole bunch of them do. A whole bunch of you politicians is on the dope. You black ones, you on the dope. City Hall ain't nothing but a undercover script club. HIS is the best little whorehouse in Texas. Man, I tell you what you can get at HISD. Now, y'all bear with me because I'm going to just tell you the truth. You may not get a quality education for your child, but you can get you some pussy.
Ooh.
I bet you can do that. Ooh. They chucking pussy over there like rock stars, man.
Yeah, if you can't do nothing else, I'm sure you can get that over there. Who is that? She has been in office since 1995, and the district looks horrible. That's Thunder. I agree. Same thing with Garnett Coleman, right? Garnett Coleman served the community from 1991 all up until last year, 30 years.
No, that's why they go out. Yeah. This is what they do. This is what they did, y'all, during the Christmas holidays. They find out which organizations got all the toys.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go show up and help them people pass out the free toys that they ain't had nothing to do with.
And they say they
make it look like they did a toy drive. I know a lady that gets tons of this stuff. And her main concern is just making sure that it gets out to the community. The politicians take credit for it. They take credit for it. You got folks out there passing out stuff right now. They getting the stuff. These supposed to be community advocates and everything. They getting the stuff. They pass half of it out and sell the other half.
Mm-hmm.
These some dirty folk, man. But people like me and you, we coons.
Like a mug.
Ain't did nothing but help our community.
They
but
say
we coons.
Yeah, we over here tap dancing with the white folk.
Well, let's tap dance with them on this one.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Let me make sure you can see this.
Hey, let me say something, Monroe, before you cut us off real quick. They say that shit about us being coons and tap dancing. But the people that invest in our funds and our campaigns are them same white folk over there. And they know the community we serve, and they know our platforms, and they know what it is that we stand for. And they support that shit. So how can you call us coons and Uncle Toms and all that stuff? Because we over here working with the people that want to work for our community. We bringing these people to the hood. And they want to be here. They want to help. And they've been saying that they have been asking to come over here and give some of these resources away. But these gatekeepers won't allow them over here because then they see the representation from the R side and they don't want that shit. They don't want that smoke.
Let me tell you this here. Our history is our history. It's what it is. And there were some evil people back in our history. I'm in 2021. I don't see that in the white people that I work with. No. I don't see that in the Republicans that I sit down and talk to. You are damn right. Because the Republicans that I work with, they don't try to make me adjust my platform.
No.
They don't tell me you're not going to support your community. You're not going to fix your schools. They say, what do you need to accomplish your goal?
Absolutely.
This is why it's important that our people take them goddamn lids off their eyes and understand the things that they're trying to use to stop us. I get what happened in the 60s, Sheila. You was a kid in the 60s. I was a brand new baby. All right? I get it. But the way you trying to run our government right now like it's 1960, it ain't working no more.
Nah.
Yeah, there's still bad black people in the world. There's still bad white people in the world. There's still racism across the country. But you know what? In my political arena that I am in, I have not seen it.
No, me neither.
I've not seen it. I don't care what nobody tell me. So if you want me to stop dealing with these white folk and these Republicans, then do something about the fact that you ain't doing nothing for what we represent.
Yep.
And right now, I don't care what they do at this point. They can come through with a Mack truck full of money. I won't sell my soul to the devil and deal with them no more.
Nah.
Because I know it's only for show. It's to stop the people from really hearing the truth. It's to stop the people from really progressing. If we can get to a point where we can get our black folk off welfare, if we stop listening to their ass.
Yeah. Because they'll tell you we live in Jim Crow 2.0 today.
Hey man, we can get to a point where on Cullen Boulevard, you can have nothing but thriving black-owned businesses.
And ain't no reason, man, for you who don't know what Cullen is and how impactful Cullen is to the south side of Houston, bro, if we can get Cullen booming from the Beltway all the way to right before you get the University of Houston.
Game over.
Bro, you talking about Black Wall Street. That's Black Wall Street.
The only people that they want to do that is them boule niggas.
Yeah.
The ones that the soul they sold to them. Them the only ones they want to be able to do it. That's why you can count the number of black-owned businesses in Sunnyside. Yep. You can count the number of black-owned businesses in Third Ward. So who the boule Negroes is?
When they say that black folk own slaves, them the black folk they talking about.
I tell you this here, but one of them we gonna exclude. My good friend Mike Moe from the Stuffed Baked Potato Factory. He's not one of them. Mike grew up like we grew up. Mike, yeah. I called Mike and tell him, man, I got this 16-year-old kid need a job. Send him up here, Monroe.
That's what's up. And that's how it should be.
That's how it should be. But Mike ain't gonna get the love that the turkey leg hood get.
Because he ain't in bed.
He won't get that love. Now, I'm not talking bad about Lynn and Nikhil. No way. I think they run a highly successful business. You see what I'm saying? But there are some Negroes in our community that done flat out sold out, and it ain't Rashard and Monroe. It ain't Rashard and Monroe. I'm sorry. No matter how you try to paint that picture, it ain't Rashard and Monroe. Well, let me put this flyer up, man. People are asking, when are we doing this event? It's called One Texas Roundtable Community Conference. It's Saturday, January 15th. It's a free event. And I talked to Mike Most on Stuffed Baked Potato Factory. We're going to have free food for you. Come on out there. While it lasts, free food. 1 p.m. at BH Ranch, 14149 Player Street in Houston, Texas. If you are running for office or if you are an elected official, you need to be there. Let me look you in your eye. If you ain't, you're going to have problems in your primary. I'm telling you what's finna happen. Because we finna cancel a whole bunch of y'all. We're going to cancel a whole bunch of y'all. The event is free. Every elected official will be treated with the kindness, respect, and dignity that they deserve. Do we get to, you can set you up a table, you can pass out your stuff. I don't care. Will I get a chance to greet the crowd? Hell no. You need to sit there and you need to listen because we are your bosses. And it's time for you to stop disrespecting us. It's time for you to stop looking at us and talking down on us. And I want everybody to know that this round table will be a very diverse round table. You will have white folk at that table. You will have Republicans and Democrats at that table. So my good white family that's out there, is this an all-black event? Hell no, you invited to it too. We're finna have a family discussion. One Texas community roundtable. One Texas. All this division, we can't get nothing done. That go for you politicians in Harris County. That go for you politicians in Fort Bend. With them voter integrity laws, some of them races going to be real close.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't show up, we are going to cancel you. What you got to say, Rashard?
I'm right on board with it. And I'll be there full effect. And I want the people to come out there and ask real tough questions. Come out there and grill me. Grill my ass. Come out there and get to know who I am as a person. Know who Monroe and I are. Know that we are very approachable. We are very personable people. We run an open door policy, man. We ain't got no shut doors around here. We ain't got nothing to hide. So please come out here and learn who we are and learn who the rest of these representatives are. So you can see who it is that really care for the people and who don't care for the people. And like Monroe say, if your ass don't show up, we canceling it. Simple as that. Ain't no more you get to choose when you come out. Ain't no more you get to choose how you want to engage the people. Nah, you owe us something. You owe us. And it's about time y'all come back and pay us what's due. It is what it is. Ain't no more pacifying the shit. Ain't no more kicking the can down the road. The buck stops here. Y'all seen me earlier with my son holding him here. The reason why I'm fighting so hard is for them. Them little girls you hear in the background laughing, that's why I'm fighting so goddamn hard. They need a future. And I'm scared as hell. If we don't get on top of our game right now, the future is doomed. I don't want to be in 2050 saying, damn, I wish I would have did this in 2021. I don't want that shit. So that's why I say y'all need to come out there and learn who we are so we can get the right representation in office, so we can push forward as a people together. Like you say, one Texas forward. No more of this division shit and no more of this fear mongering being pushed by the Democratic Party. You muted.
Yeah, I want them to come on out. I have me a little table set up. I want you to get to know me. I want you to be in close proximity of me, because there's a misconception about me that Gary Monroe is totally out of control. I tell you what, I'm not totally out of control. I'm highly educated, and ain't too many of these politicians can sit in the room and go blow for blow with me on any policy at all, because they have not been in our community. The only time you see them is when there's some cameras, when they can get a picture out the deal. They gonna pass out the turkey. Can you pass out the turkey without taking a picture? I take care of my hood all the time without taking pictures. Can you pass out, the turkey without taking a picture? So the bottom line is, January 15th, we ain't playing with y'all. You can try us if you want. You're going to play the law average and get burnt on this one. I promise you that. So at the end of the day, I want to thank Rashard for taking the time out. And to be fair, on that Republican side in 147, I'm going to bring Damian Thaddeus Jones on here one day, maybe next week or this week, whatever his schedule will allow, because I'm bringing people on here so that the people can get familiar with them, no matter what race it may be. Some of these people with these old boule attitudes, if you're trying to figure out what I mean, go research it. Yeah, you call me a coon, you a boule.
Yeah.
Yeah, you the one Malcolm was talking about. So the thing is January 15th, we ain't playing no games. You get ready, because when it's all said and done, some of y'all finna lose y'all seats, man. Say it's a we. We the best in the business. Every night, 7 o'clock. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Say, man, it's the WARZONE. I want to thank my guest tonight, my good friend Rashard Baylor, candidate, state representative, HD 147, and I am the 5-star general Until tomorrow night.